Good morning, everyone. Jim Clark here at the Synchronicity Sanctuary in Central Virginia to share a contemplative focus with you today. And that focus that I want to share today is simply this: what is, isn't. How masochistic are you? You might say that it's painful not to see things as they really are. If we create our own experiences and they are painful and unreal, we should ask ourselves, why are we doing this to ourselves? Imagine someone hitting themselves on the head with a hammer and hurting themselves. You would naturally want to tell them to stop, right? But if this self-harm is a deeply ingrained habit that they aren't even aware of, how do they stop? And more importantly, how do they start creating experiences that aren't self-destructive? So that's the contemplation that we want to look at today. And as my teacher told us many times, uh, the unconscious, ego-driven mind is where all the problems are, huh? All the stories, especially ones that hurt us, ones that create pain and suffering for us, are creations of ours. We made them, we're creating them, and we're the ones that keep replaying them. And so, if you're not aware that if you think that this is some authoritative thought process coming from a higher dimension or something like that, wrong. It's coming from yourself. And how can we turn that around? How can we actually stop doing that and start doing something more positive, something that uplifts it? I'll give you an example. This last weekend here, I decided last week I was going to go do some errands for Synchronicity in Charlottesville on Saturday, which is my day off, right? So it just turned out that it was easier for me to do it that day, and I was also going to do a couple things for myself along the way, and so I did that, and I left the sanctuary at a time that I figured would be just perfect because I had an appointment to do something for myself on the way into my errand run. And so I just watched all this unfold as I was going into town and as I was headed for this appointment. And what I experienced in all this was a miraculous unfolding of events as I went. I mean, everything was timed out just perfect. Everything I did turned out to be something that was just perfect. Not because I'm perfect, but because the unfolding of my intention to do the errands was perfect. You know, it was in alignment with who I am and where I am, and serving a greater purpose than just myself. And so as I headed for my appointment, I ended up getting there exactly on time. Was immediately attended to for what I was doing, and then I was done early, and then I went on into town, and as I was in town, every place I had to go to, the way to get there was very clear. And if it wasn't very clear, and I sometimes, in fact, there was one incident where I ended up in what I considered to be the wrong lane, and there was nothing I could do about it. So I did what I had to do, which was a U-turn in this particular instance. And it turned out to be better than what I was planning on doing to get to my next place to do the errands. So it was just one good thing after another, really. And I ended up getting done early